Hey guys, welcome to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial. Now in this video I'm going to cover an alternative way of using a delegate to update text in a blueprint widget. This is actually a continuation of a previous tutorial I've done, so I'll link the video for that in the description below. But it was mainly something that I noticed when I was using the output log, and I thought that there might be a better way of doing something, so I decided to experiment a little bit. So I'll go into what I find now. So I decided to put a UE log inside here, log temp, warning, text, and I decided to just say, okay, well, how often does this get updated? So I hit that, added that into here just underneath the if test game mode, print that log and also get the score points from the game mode. Quickly hit compile. Okay, there you go, it's compiled. Hit play. And if I scroll down here, even though the value is not updating, can you see the scroll bar? It's constantly updating, meaning that score text field, even though the value's not updating, it's still testing every second, even if the value hasn't changed. So I figured let's try something different. Let's try using a normal delegate instead of the text field delegate. So in the next part I'm going to create a new delegate, a multicast delegate in the game mode. So if we need to go into Visual Studio, first of all I'm going to get rid of this log temp, just make sure that's gone. And I'm going to go into my test game mode header, and this is where I'll declare the delegate initially. So let's go to delegate, declare multicast, there you go, delegate, so I can also complete that, and I'm going to call it score update delegate. Wait for the IntelliSense to catch up. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is now just add that delegate in, so make it public. So score update delegate, and I'm going to just call this on score updated. Okay, next thing I want to do is add a protected function, which will call that delegate. Put it into a function also allows you to update the score from another area, so you don't have to keep retyping the broadcast. You can actually just put it into its own methods. That way when you need to call it from anywhere else, you just call the method instead of the delegate directly. So I'm going to make it a U function, and I'm going to call that, it's not going to take it, return any parameters, it's just going to update the score, announce that the score has been updated, and that's going to just be called score updated. So that's the initial header. In the next part I will show you how to update the .cpp file. Okay, so we're now going to go into the .cpp for the test game mode to add the relevant method, which is score updated. You can either right click it, and you could go into quick actions and refactorings, create definition of score updated to test.cp, or you can type it manually. So for this one I'm just going to create a definition, and let's go to it here. So that's now been created. I'm going to type on score updated, broadcast, and that's basically calling a delegate using that. And so we're going to link the score updated method to the set score points, so when the score is updated it'll broadcast that's happened. So what we'll do is just type in score updated brackets, save that, hit compile, and that's basically our test mode, game modes ready to broadcast that the score has been updated, And then the next part we're going to put the parent widget to make that subscribe to that particular event. So now we're going to update the parent widget.header file. So in terms of view functions, I want to get rid of this set score field because we're not going to be using that. Next we need to add a view function. This is going to not return anything, it's going to set the data value delegate. Call this Control Shift and S to save, and that's pretty much all we need to do with the header file. So next part we'll update the .cpp file. So going into the .cpp file, we'll notice if we go down, obviously there's going to be some errors here, but we'll just commentate that text to save having to delete it. Obviously we need to add this set of data value delegate, so I'm just going to right click on that, quick actions and refactorings, and I'm just going to create a definition, and then if you click on promote to documents, that'll take you in there as well. So starting from the top, if you remember from the previous video, or if you've looked at the code already, we added this native construct that calls the base method in super, but we didn't actually add anything to it. So this is where I'm going to bind this particular bind to the delegate using this function right when this is constructed. So first thing we need to do is we need to get the world. So we can actually already just copy and paste the file, but we can go uworld. I'm going to point to world equals get world. Ooh. Get world. If world is not null pointer, open parentheses, I want to get a copy. My test game mode, pointer, test game mode equals cast a test game mode world get authoritative game mode. All fingers and thumbs at the moment, I do apologise. Game mode. There we go. Got there in the end. If this returns a valid test game mode, what I want to do is I want to subscribe to the on-score updated. If you notice, whenever you type on the first sort of part of that on, you'll notice other delegates pop up, showing the naming convention whenever you're trying to use delegates. So I want to add a U object. Obviously this takes in 3 parameters, so an ampersand, U parent widget, and I'm going to set this to set data value delegate. Give it tell sense to update, and there, that's pretty much the event being subscribed to, which is triggered in game mode. So in this case it's the on score updated. So now that that's been done, we just need to change the initialize, because that obviously hasn't happened. That doesn't subscribe to the original text box anymore. We're going to use this delegate, not the previous one. So all we need to do is, from if score text, we just want to just say that it's been initialized when it begins. So all I'm going to do is not bother getting the game mode, delete that, delete the binding. It's a bit messy, but it'll do. It should sort itself out in a minute. Clean that up a bit. And I'm just going to say score text has been initialized. Again, don't worry about if you lose track of where you are. I'm going to put this project onto GitHub so you can have a look at the code if you want. So, Control-Shift and S to save. Next part is I'm going to actually add the code here for the set data value delegate. So first off, I'm going to UE4 log temp warning text, and I'm just going to put the score has been updated. It's just so that I know that that particular method's being called. Okay, then if there's a valid score text, I'm going to call the uWorld again, pointer world equals getWorld. If world is not non-pointer, oh, small typo, open parenthesis, I'm going to get the game mode. Now, I've already done this, so I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm just going to get that line of code again. So, we know that the text takes a particular string, and the integer value is actually not a string, which is what the text field needs to receive in order to update. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a manual string, an f string, just call it data string equals text. I'm going to put the score value is close parenthesis. If there's a test game mode, data string dot append int open brackets test game mode. And you can remember we've got get score points, which is a function that returns an integer. So that will return an int. So when we append an int, we're actually just converting that integer into and adding it onto the end of that data string that we created above. And then last thing we need to do is go to score text, set the text. It's an f text. And convert from a string, and we've got the data string there. Okay, so that pretty much is everything subscribed, and so everything that the parent widget needs to get the information. So it's listening for the event to be fired, and then once that event's been fired, it's just getting the integer value from the game mode and then updating the widget. So what we're going to quickly do is hit compile, and the next part we'll be able to see it in action. Okay, so now that the code's compiled, it's time to test this out to see if it works. Now, on my initial play session, I hit play and hit the tab key, and the editor crashed. But not to worry, if this happens to you, just restart the editor, hit play again, and this should resolve it. So I'm going to hit play, Shift and F1 just to get the output log visible, and as you can see it comes up with what we typed in with the initialize method. Hit tab, and you can see here that the score value is updating, and because we're using the delegate from the game mode, this is only firing when the score is updated, so it's not polling it every delta seconds. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you find this useful, and like I say, the source code for this will be available on GitHub under the link below. Thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you see, please subscribe and like, and feel free to leave a comment below if you have any feedback or suggestions. Take care guys, goodbye.